When she pulls away, it's crucial to first take a step back and understand the underlying reasons behind her actions. Relationships are complex, and the dynamics between two people can shift for a variety of reasons. One of the most common causes for someone pulling away is a need for emotional space. This doesn't necessarily mean she's no longer interested in you, but she might be feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or simply in need of time to focus on her own life, whether it's work, personal growth, or other relationships. In this situation, it's important to avoid jumping to conclusions or assuming the worst. Often, when someone pulls away, it's because they're trying to process their emotions, not because they want to end the relationship. It's also possible that she feels emotionally drained or disconnected. Sometimes, when someone feels like they are constantly giving in a relationship without receiving the same level of emotional support, they might pull away to recharge. This can happen when communication isn't flowing as smoothly, or when one person is too focused on their own needs. If you've been overly focused on her or her needs, she may feel like she's not being heard or valued, which can create an emotional distance. Understanding this is crucial, because it means that her pulling away might not be about you at all, but rather about her need for balance and self-care. Another important factor to consider is external stressors. These could range from issues at work, family dynamics, or even personal insecurities that she's struggling with. These external pressures can cause her to retreat inwardly, making her less available emotionally or physically. It's natural for people to pull back when life gets overwhelming. They might not have the energy to give to a relationship while they're dealing with personal challenges. In these cases, it's important to give her the space she needs without pushing her further away. At times, pulling away can also be an indication that she's uncertain about her feelings. If she's feeling conflicted about the relationship or unsure of what she wants, she may distance herself to gain clarity. It's not uncommon for someone to retreat in this phase, trying to figure out if they want to continue on the same path or if they need a change. This can be difficult to navigate, but understanding this possibility can help you approach the situation with patience rather than pressure. Understanding why she's pulling away is the first step in deciding how to respond. Instead of immediately trying to fix the situation, which might make her feel even more pressured, it's more effective to reflect on the relationship's current state. Consider whether there have been any recent changes in your communication patterns or the dynamics between you two. Have you been overly demanding or inattentive? Are you allowing her the freedom and space she needs to maintain her sense of self? These are questions worth pondering, as they can give you insight into what might be causing her to pull away in the first place. Once you have a better understanding of the reasons behind her behavior, you can start to consider how you should respond. One of the most important things is to respect her need for space without withdrawing entirely. If you become distant or detached, it can create even more emotional distance between you. Instead, let her know you understand her need for space, but that you're there when she's ready to connect again. This shows maturity and emotional intelligence, signaling that you're willing to give her the time she needs while still being present in a healthy way. It also helps her feel secure, knowing that you're not just waiting around passively, but are capable of being independent and emotionally stable. This phase also requires you to evaluate your own emotions. It's easy to fall into a pattern of insecurity or doubt when someone pulls away, but this is a time for you to focus on your own growth as well. It's essential to avoid clinging or becoming needy, as this can make her feel even more suffocated. When you're able to remain calm and composed, you project an aura of self-confidence that can make her miss you. People are naturally attracted to those who can maintain their balance even in moments of uncertainty. If you can handle the situation gracefully, showing that you respect her space but also value yourself, she'll be more likely to reconsider her distance and may even come back with renewed affection and longing. In addition, avoid making assumptions or rushing to conclusions about her feelings. It's easy to think that if she pulls away, it's because she's no longer interested, or that she's secretly seeing someone else, but these assumptions can cloud your judgment. Rather than assuming the worst, approach the situation with an open mind and allow for the possibility that her pulling away might not be about you at all. Understanding this will help you to avoid unnecessary conflict and maintain a healthy perspective on the relationship. The key takeaway is that when she pulls away, the first step is to understand why she's doing so, rather than jumping to conclusions. There are many reasons for someone to retreat emotionally, and not all of them are negative. Once you understand the root cause of her pulling away, you can respond in a way that respects her space while maintaining your own emotional stability. This approach not only allows her the time and freedom to miss you, but it also fosters a sense of maturity and emotional intelligence in the relationship. With patience and understanding, you'll create the right conditions for her to realize what she values in the connection, and it could ultimately bring you both closer. When she pulls away, it's crucial to give her the space she needs, but equally important is ensuring that you don't lose your value in the process. Giving space doesn't mean disappearing entirely, nor does it imply that you should be distant or emotionally detached. The balance here is delicate. It's about respecting her needs without losing the essence of who you are. When you give someone space in a relationship, it allows them to reconnect with themselves and regain perspective. However, if you withdraw so completely that you seem emotionally unavailable or distant, it can create a gap that may be hard to bridge later. The key here is to maintain your independence while still showing that you're there when she's ready. First and foremost, respect is the foundation of any relationship. When she asks for space, it's essential to honor her request, showing her that you understand her need for distance without making her feel guilty about it. Sometimes people need to retreat to process their emotions, whether they're dealing with personal issues, career stress, or simply feeling overwhelmed by the demands of a relationship. Giving her this space without creating pressure is crucial because it shows that you respect her boundaries and that you trust her enough to let her figure things out on her own. This respect, in turn, creates a sense of emotional security within the relationship. But while respect for her space is essential, it's equally important that you continue to value yourself in your own life. It's natural to want to fix things or stay available at all costs when someone pulls away, but this often leads to a sense of desperation that can push them further away. When you focus too much on her absence and not enough on your own life, it can create an imbalance where you become too eager to win back her affection. Instead of making her absence the focal point of your existence, shift your attention back to yourself. Engage in activities that fulfill you, pursue hobbies that bring you joy, and continue to nurture your own growth and interests. This not only helps you stay emotionally balanced, but it also makes you more attractive because you're a person with your own life and passions, not someone who is constantly waiting on her to return. One of the best ways to handle this situation is by maintaining a healthy level of independence. Independence doesn't mean shutting her out or acting as though you no longer care. It means having your own life outside of the relationship that provides you with a sense of fulfillment. When you have a life that doesn't revolve around her, it creates an air of mystery and attraction. People are drawn to those who are self-assured and emotionally secure because it shows that they are capable of standing on their own. This allows you to retain your self-worth, which ultimately benefits the relationship, making her realize that you're not defined by her presence or absence. At the same time, it's essential to strike a balance between respecting her space and remaining emotionally available. While you should avoid overwhelming her with constant attention or trying to solve her problems, it's still important to check in occasionally in a thoughtful, non-intrusive way. Let her know that you care, but don't put pressure on her to engage when she's not ready. This subtle act of showing you're still there without forcing interaction helps her feel emotionally safe, knowing that she can come to you when she's ready without feeling obligated. Moreover, while giving her space, take this opportunity to invest in other areas of your life. This not only allows you to regain a sense of self, but can also make her miss you more. Sometimes when one person pulls away, it's because they feel the relationship is consuming too much of their energy, leaving them feeling drained or overwhelmed. By focusing on your own personal development, whether it's advancing in your career, spending time with friends, or pursuing new passions, you show her that you have a life outside of the relationship. This can create a dynamic where she starts to feel the absence of your presence, making her more likely to miss you and seek connection once more. It's important not to make her absence the focus of your life, though. If she senses that you're only functioning to fill the gap she left, it can create a sense of suffocation and guilt, making her feel even more pressure to re-engage before she's ready. Instead, live your life with purpose and joy, and let that energy naturally draw her back to you. People are more likely to miss what they perceive as valuable, and when you maintain your sense of value and self-worth, it makes you more intriguing. This doesn't mean you need to try harder to impress her, but rather that you should be the best version of yourself so that when she does return, she's returning to someone who has continued to grow and evolve in her absence. As time passes, her absence will either bring her back to you or show you that your needs have changed as well. When you give her space and continue to live your life with confidence and passion, you allow both of you the room to grow individually and together. This allows her the opportunity to miss you because she starts to recognize that you are not someone who can be taken for granted. She begins to see that you are an independent person who adds value to her life, not someone who depends entirely on her for fulfillment. It's also important to remember that by maintaining your value, you also avoid becoming complacent or overly accommodating. Relationships require mutual effort, and when you show that you're capable of standing on your own, it reinforces the idea that you won't chase someone indefinitely. This gives her the space to reflect on the relationship and miss what she values in it, without feeling as though she has all the control. In the end, it's about creating an environment where both people can appreciate each other and the relationship for what it is, not for what it might be when one person becomes emotionally reliant. By giving her space while maintaining your own life and sense of self, you create a healthy dynamic where both of you can reconnect on equal terms. She'll appreciate the fact that you respected her boundaries, and more importantly, she'll miss the connection and chemistry you once shared. When she pulls away, one of the most important things you can do is maintain emotional confidence. This is crucial because it can determine how the relationship evolves and whether it brings you closer or further apart. Emotional confidence doesn't mean pretending that everything is okay when it's not, nor does it mean suppressing your feelings. It's about being secure in who you are, regardless of what's happening in the relationship. When you show that you are emotionally balanced and stable, it not only helps you navigate this challenging phase, but also increases her attraction to you. The first step in cultivating emotional confidence is acknowledging your own worth and value in the relationship. It's easy to fall into a cycle of self-doubt when someone pulls away, wondering if you're not good enough or if there's something wrong with you. However, the truth is that relationships go through phases and people sometimes need space to process their emotions. Her pulling away isn't necessarily a reflection of your worth. It's just a sign that something in the relationship or in her personal life is requiring her attention. By reframing the situation in this way, you can detach your self-worth from her actions, which is essential for maintaining emotional confidence. When you are emotionally confident, you don't need to chase after her or seek constant reassurance. You know that your value isn't dependent on her approval or affection. Instead of focusing on her absence, you can focus on your own growth, interests, and life outside of the relationship. This allows you to maintain a healthy balance where you're not constantly seeking validation from her. People are naturally drawn to those who are self-assured, and when you radiate confidence, it can make her take notice and reevaluate the relationship. She may start to miss you, not because you are distant or unavailable, but because you've demonstrated that you are capable of thriving on your own. It's also important to understand that emotional confidence doesn't mean you're unaffected by the situation. It's natural to feel hurt, confused, or frustrated when someone pulls away, but emotional confidence means that you're able to acknowledge and process these feelings without letting them take over. Rather than reacting impulsively or allowing emotions like jealousy or insecurity to dictate your behavior, emotional confidence allows you to stay composed. You don't chase after her or try to manipulate the situation to get her attention. Instead, you give her space, and in doing so, you create a sense of emotional maturity that will likely make her miss you even more. Furthermore, emotional confidence allows you to communicate effectively when the time comes. When you're secure in yourself, you're able to express your feelings calmly and clearly without sounding needy or desperate. Instead of pressuring her to explain her actions or asking for constant reassurance, you can have open and honest conversations when it feels appropriate. You'll be able to share your concerns and desires without sounding like you're trying to fix the situation or make her feel guilty. This level of communication fosters mutual respect and trust, which is crucial for any relationship. It also signals to her that you're emotionally mature, which makes you more attractive and can even lead her to reconsider her distance. One of the most powerful aspects of emotional confidence is that it allows you to stay true to who you are, regardless of external circumstances. When you feel good about yourself and have a strong sense of self-worth, you're less likely to engage in behaviors that could be seen as clingy or needy. People who are emotionally confident don't feel the need to constantly seek attention or validation from others because they already have a strong sense of identity. When you're not constantly trying to prove yourself, you can be more present in the relationship without letting fear or insecurity cloud your judgment. This creates a healthy dynamic where both individuals can express themselves freely without feeling pressured or overwhelmed. Moreover, emotional confidence allows you to let go of the need for control. In relationships, especially when someone pulls away, there can be a temptation to try and control the outcome. You might want to manipulate the situation, change her mind, or force things to go back to the way they were. However, this often leads to more frustration and distance. When you're emotionally confident, you understand that you can't control how she feels or what she chooses to do. What you can control is your own reaction. By letting go of the need for control, you allow the relationship to evolve naturally, without forcing anything. This approach not only relieves pressure, but also allows her to come back to you on her own. It's also essential to recognize that emotional confidence isn't about being perfect. It's okay to have moments of vulnerability or uncertainty, but the key is to recognize those moments without letting them define you. When you have emotional confidence, you acknowledge your emotions, but don't let them dictate your actions. Instead of acting out of fear, frustration, or anxiety, you respond with patience and emotional resilience. This shows maturity and strength, which are qualities that make you more attractive and appealing in the long run. When you maintain emotional confidence during times of distance, you also demonstrate that you are capable of handling challenges in the relationship. It shows her that you're not easily shaken by difficult situations, and that you can handle the ups and downs with grace. This builds a sense of trust and reliability as she sees that you are emotionally grounded and steady. This type of emotional stability can be incredibly attractive because it creates a sense of safety in the relationship, which makes it easier for her to come back and reconnect. Finally, emotional confidence allows you to recognize that her pulling away might not be about you at all. Sometimes, people need space to work through their own issues or to figure out their emotions. When you're emotionally confident, you understand that this doesn't necessarily mean that you've done something wrong. It's a reminder that people have their own personal journeys and struggles, and they sometimes need time to process them. Instead of blaming yourself or feeling insecure, emotional confidence helps you approach the situation with understanding and compassion. In the end, maintaining emotional confidence when she pulls away allows you to handle the situation with poise and maturity. It prevents you from reacting out of fear or desperation, and instead, it empowers you to stay true to yourself. By doing so, you increase the chances of her missing you, as she will be drawn to your emotional strength and the stability you provide. Ultimately, emotional confidence not only benefits you, but also creates a healthier, more balanced dynamic in the relationship, fostering a deeper connection that can withstand challenges. When she pulls away, one of the most effective things you can do is make her feel desired without smothering her. This delicate balance between showing interest and giving her space is key to reigniting the spark in the relationship and ensuring she misses your presence. If you overdo it and become too available, it can lead to her feeling overwhelmed or pressured. On the other hand, if you completely withdraw and act aloof, it may leave her wondering whether you still care. The goal is to make her feel special and valued while allowing her the freedom to come back to you when she's ready. First, it's important to recognize that desire in a relationship is not just about physical attraction, it's about emotional connection and showing that you appreciate who she is. One of the most powerful ways to make her feel desired is through thoughtful gestures and words that highlight her qualities. Compliment her on the things you truly admire about her, whether it's her intelligence, sense of humor, or the way she carries herself. These compliments, when given genuinely and thoughtfully, can have a lasting impact and remind her of the connection you share. At the same time, it's important not to overdo it. Constantly showering her with compliments or excessive attention can come off as insincere or worse, desperate. Instead, focus on making her feel good about herself in subtle ways. This can be through actions as simple as remembering the small things she enjoys or showing interest in her passions. Let her see that you value who she is as a person and not just for the role she plays in your life. By doing this, you create a space where she feels appreciated, which fosters a sense of desire on her end. Another way to make her feel desired without smothering her is by giving her the freedom to come to you. Avoid bombarding her with texts or calls, as this can create pressure, making her feel like she's expected to respond on your terms. Instead, let her miss you by allowing some time to pass between interactions. When you create a little distance, it often leads to her reflecting on the relationship and realizing how much she values your presence. This space allows her to come to the realization that she desires your company and your connection, rather than feeling as though she's obligated to give you attention on demand. Additionally, when you do reach out or spend time together, make it count. Keep the interactions meaningful and engaging rather than simply checking in out of habit. When you communicate, focus on having quality conversations, whether they're lighthearted and fun or more serious and intimate. Creating these emotionally enriching experiences when you are together will remind her of the bond you share, which will likely make her more eager to connect with you again. If your conversations are engaging and stimulating, she will miss the depth of your connection when you're apart. It's also important to remain consistent in how you treat her without becoming too predictable. One of the most compelling ways to maintain her interest is by introducing an element of mystery. While it's important to be reliable and consistent in your communication and actions, it's equally important to avoid becoming too available or giving her everything all at once. Instead of constantly laying out your plans or telling her exactly what you're doing, allow some of your time and activities to remain a little unknown. This curiosity about your life creates intrigue, and it often leads her to think about you more when you're not around. It sparks the desire to learn more about you, keeping the relationship dynamic and fresh. This sense of mystery doesn't mean playing games or being deceptive. It's about maintaining your own individuality and allowing your entire world to revolve around her. When you show that you have your own passions, friends, and activities that you enjoy, it communicates that you are a well-rounded person who doesn't need to constantly seek validation or attention from her. This, in turn, can lead her to see you as someone she admires and respects, not just someone who's always available to cater to her needs. At the same time, be mindful of not disappearing completely. While creating some space is important, you don't want to vanish entirely and leave her wondering if you're still interested. Instead, keep things light and positive and let her know without being overwhelming that you're still thinking of her. Sending an occasional message or making small gestures that show you care is enough to keep the connection alive. This approach allows you to keep the spark alive while giving her the space to miss you and realize that your presence is something she desires. By keeping these interactions meaningful, avoiding desperation, and maintaining your own sense of mystery and independence, you create an atmosphere where she is more likely to miss you and crave your attention. It's a subtle yet powerful way to reignite the attraction and make her realize that your presence adds something special to her life. In the end, making her feel desired without smothering her is all about finding that perfect balance, showing her how much you value her while also allowing her the space to come back to you on her own terms. When she pulls away, one of the most effective ways to make her miss you is by showing that you are emotionally stable and have your own life outside of the relationship. Emotional stability is attractive because it signals maturity and self-confidence. When you're able to maintain your composure during times of emotional distance, it shows that you're not reliant on her for your happiness or sense of self-worth. This emotional resilience not only strengthens your own sense of independence, but also makes her appreciate the stability you bring to the relationship. At times when she pulls away, it's natural to feel hurt, confused, or anxious. However, acting out of these emotions can often lead to behavior that pushes her further away. The key to making her miss you is not to act from a place of desperation or neediness, but to respond with patience, understanding, and self-assurance. When you can manage your emotions and continue to show up as your best self, she will likely see your strength and resilience, which can create a sense of longing for your presence. This emotional stability makes it clear that while you value the relationship, you don't need her to complete you. This doesn't mean that you should suppress your emotions or pretend everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging your feelings without letting them dictate your actions. Instead of bombarding her with texts, calls, or overly emotional conversations, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and process it internally or with friends. This demonstrates that you can handle tough situations on your own, which is a powerful signal to her that you are someone she can rely on, even when times are difficult. Another important aspect of emotional stability is maintaining your own passions and interests. When someone pulls away, it's easy to become consumed by thoughts of the relationship and focus all your energy on trying to fix things. However, this can quickly lead to neglecting your own life and losing the sense of who you are as an individual. Instead, when you continue to focus on your own goals, hobbies, and personal development, it reinforces that you are an independent and well-rounded person. This not only keeps your own life fulfilling and balanced, but also makes you more attractive in her eyes. People are naturally drawn to those who are passionate and engaged in their own lives. By continuing to thrive in your personal pursuits, you create a sense of mystery and intrigue that can make her wonder what she might be missing. It's also helpful to maintain a sense of social connection. Surrounding yourself with friends and engaging in social activities shows that your happiness doesn't solely depend on the relationship. This helps prevent you from coming across as clingy or overly dependent, which can be a major turnoff. When you maintain a healthy social circle and have a fulfilling life outside of the relationship, you send the message that you are emotionally self-sufficient. This, in turn, makes her realize that while you are invested in the relationship, you are not reliant on it for your sense of worth or happiness. When you focus on emotional stability, you also show her that you are capable of weathering the ups and downs of life without falling apart. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will arise, but if you can remain calm and composed, it demonstrates strength of character. This kind of emotional resilience is something many people find compelling, as it fosters a sense of trust and security. She will begin to see you as someone who can handle difficult situations with grace, which can make her miss your grounded presence in her life. At the same time, emotional stability can help you avoid unnecessary conflict. When emotions run high and you feel like you're losing control, it's tempting to lash out or make accusations. However, this type of behavior often escalates the situation and drives a wedge between you. By staying emotionally stable, you can communicate in a way that fosters understanding rather than creating more tension. This allows both of you to process your feelings and work through any challenges in a constructive way, which ultimately brings you closer together. In addition, emotional stability makes it easier for you to take a step back and evaluate the relationship from a clear-headed perspective. When you're emotionally secure, you can assess the situation without getting caught up in negative thought patterns or knee-jerk reactions. This enables you to approach the situation with patience and understanding rather than feeling pressure to act immediately. By giving her the space to process her own emotions, you create an environment where she can miss the connection you share without feeling overwhelmed or forced. When she pulls away, demonstrating emotional stability can have a profound impact on the relationship. It not only helps you navigate the situation with maturity, but also shows her that you are someone who can be trusted and relied upon. By maintaining your own emotional well-being, continuing to engage in your personal interests, and staying connected with your social circle, you create a healthy dynamic that allows both of you to grow individually and together. Ultimately, emotional stability is one of the most attractive qualities you can exhibit in a relationship. And when you remain grounded during times of emotional distance, it increases the likelihood that she will miss you and long for the connection you share. When she pulls away, one of the most powerful ways to make her miss you is by showing her that you're emotionally secure enough to give her the time and space she needs without making her feel guilty. This involves letting go of the need to constantly control the situation and instead demonstrating that you respect her boundaries. By doing this, you not only show that you are understanding and patient, but you also increase the chances of her missing the emotional connection you share. When someone pulls away, it's natural to feel confused, anxious, or even insecure about the relationship. However, it's crucial not to act out of these feelings, as doing so can often push her further away. Instead, by respecting her space, you allow her to come to the realization on her own that she wants to reconnect with you. The first step in allowing her space without making her feel guilty is by staying calm and composed. When she pulls away, it's tempting to overanalyze the situation or make it about you, wondering if you've done something wrong or if the relationship is over. However, showing emotional maturity means that you understand relationships have natural ebbs and flows. Sometimes people need time to themselves to work through personal issues or just to recharge. By accepting this and not taking her distance personally, you can stay grounded and avoid making her feel pressured to explain herself. Furthermore, it's important to avoid overwhelming her with constant messages or calls. If you repeatedly reach out and demand answers or clarification, it can create a sense of obligation rather than a desire to reconnect. Instead, take a step back and allow her the space to reach out when she's ready. This shows her that you respect her boundaries and are confident enough to let things unfold at their own pace. It's essential that she feels like she can come to you on her own terms, without the fear of being bombarded or made to feel guilty about taking time for herself. When you give her space, it's not about cutting off communication completely. You can still show that you care in small ways without pressuring her for a response. A brief message letting her know you're thinking of her and that you're there if she needs anything can be a gentle reminder of your presence without overwhelming her. This kind of communication lets her know that you're emotionally available, but you're not demanding her attention. It's a subtle way of showing that you're confident in the relationship and that you're willing to respect her needs, which can make her miss you when she sees the level of understanding you offer. Additionally, while giving her space, it's important to focus on yourself and your own well-being. When you do this, it not only helps you regain emotional balance, but also reinforces the idea that your life isn't centered solely around her. By continuing to pursue your own interests, maintain your friendships, and focus on personal growth, you show her that you are a well-rounded individual who has his own life. This creates a sense of mystery and intrigue. She may begin to wonder what you're up to and how you're doing, which in turn can lead to her reaching out to reconnect. People are often drawn to those who have a strong sense of self and don't rely on others to define their happiness. Another important aspect of allowing her space is being mindful of how you react when she does reach out. If you respond too eagerly or act as though you've been waiting for her to return, it can convey a sense of desperation. Instead, when she initiates contact, respond in a calm, collected manner, showing that you're happy to hear from her, but not overly eager. This will reinforce the idea that you have your own life and are not dependent on her for validation. It also prevents you from coming across as needy, which can be a major turn-off. When you remain emotionally composed and confident, it makes her miss you because she will recognize the emotional strength and independence you bring to the relationship. It's also helpful to avoid playing games or using tactics that are manipulative or passive-aggressive in nature. Some people may try to make their partner jealous or create emotional distance as a way to gain attention, but these tactics are usually counterproductive. Instead of fostering a healthy dynamic, they create confusion and resentment. When you respect her space and remain emotionally stable, you demonstrate that you're not trying to manipulate her emotions, but rather that you value the relationship and want her to come back when she's ready, not out of guilt or pressure. Allowing space in a relationship is also about creating a sense of emotional safety. When she feels that she can take a step back without the fear of rejection or conflict, it builds trust and respect. This emotional safety can make her realize how much she values your connection and the stability you offer. The key is not to overthink the situation, but to trust that space can be a healthy part of the relationship. It's in these moments that people often reflect on what they truly want and need from their partner. By respecting her need for space, you give her the opportunity to process her feelings and come to the realization that she misses the relationship and wants to rekindle the connection. Ultimately, when you allow her to have the space she needs without making her feel guilty, you are showing her that you're emotionally secure and confident in the relationship. This creates an atmosphere where she feels safe to reflect on her own feelings, and in doing so, she may come to the realization that she misses you and the bond you share. Your ability to respect her boundaries without putting pressure on her not only helps the relationship grow stronger, but also makes her more likely to appreciate you and your understanding nature.